Welcome back, everybody. Season 3, episode 97, Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. And I am just so grateful to be back with you guys. And I do a lot of debriefing in the episode today about what to expect this season, where we're moving through, what this is all about. And this season is like a reintroduction to the podcast. To me, the podcast, some things I believe, the space I'm holding for all the things, and just what to expect, really. And I'm just really grateful to be back in action. We got new branding. We got some new energies. We're changing the formatting a little bit this season. And this feels aligned and it feels potent and it feels like we're in another level of movement. And I hope that with what you've been moving through in life, that you actually feel that for yourself as well. So with no further ado, here we go. Season 3, episode 97, Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. Well, this is going to be fun. We are here. Oh my gosh, the beginning of season 3 of the Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. And, I worked through some ideas and some concepts to be able to move this into the field today. And there was a part of me that was like, I don't know if I want to podcast again. And I love podcasting and speaking with other people inside of the space. But I was like, do I really want to launch it? Do I really want to do this? And yes, I do. Here we are. I know what this could mean for humanity. I know that when someone comes across a certain message inside of a podcast, that could change their world. And I'm really being called forward to light things up into the world. And here I am going to show up for you guys. So a couple things I want to know. We're going to do this season a bit differently than we have the last 2 seasons. I'm only going to be launching a podcast a week. And it might be a guest episode. It might be a solo episode. It's just going to depend on what's moving through the fields and what I've got going on in the hopper. There will not be a rhythm or a mechanism to it. It will drop the same day on Fridays and same thing in the mornings, but there won't be like a system. It won't be like one guest, one solo episode. I'm going to flow with what's being called forward, what messages are dropping in at what timeline, and really move in that potency for you guys this season. The graphics have changed. The energy of this has changed. I'm going to dive deeper into like conversations with you and really get more vulnerable. And I have been over the last 96 episodes. However, this is even going to dive in more. I really feel this calling forward right now in our light beams to really lean into our truth and to really be within our truth and to really hold this energetic capacity in our truth. And we can't do that if we're almost sharing ourselves, if we're potentially thinking about stepping in, if we are like, I'm tiptoeing around the subject matter, I can't speak fully into this, it's not going to work. So I vowed into the energetic field, signed my energetic contract for you guys, that I will step up fully this season inside of this space to see where we're going to be led, what this looks like, how we're showing up, and what this means. The potency of the guests dropping in and what we're going to create together is going to be even cooler. And I am just so grateful for this. So how I wanted to lead off the season 3 is like a reintroduction of me, who I am, the work I do in the world, what this means for my mission, why this podcast was created in the first place, and really step into that. Because some of you have been around for a few episodes. You've seen it, you felt it, maybe you're brand new. I've got a lot of people in my field that are new to my world. So you may know that I have a podcast and you may not know that I have a podcast, and I'll be promoting that throughout different mechanisms now inside of the universal space. So some people may find this and have no idea who I am. And I want to share a few things. So I'm a spiritual guide, and that's one of the many hats that I wear. But I believe in exploring truth. I believe that every single human on this earth has everything that they need for their mission on earth at this time inside of them. We just need to remember that. We need to remember who we are. We need to remember this potency inside of us. And a lot of us are avoiding the work. A lot of us are pretending that we don't have to do the work. A lot of us are running away from the work. And I understand all 3 of these because I have been down this pathway in multiple ways inside of all of these avenues. And I desire to step in today to tell you that we are being called now into the field to do the work, to step up, to do the shadow work, to dive deeper into ourselves, to discover, to light fully our illuminated light beam into this space of time. And why the podcast dropped in back in February of 2023. So it's still newer podcast. I did have a podcast before called Dare to Be More that I think I have maybe 20 or 25 episodes in that I recorded back in 2020, 2021. But I was called forward to launch a podcast in 2023. Literally at the beginning of February, it dropped in. I think it was like February 14th, actually, Valentine's Day. I was out having espresso martinis with myself at the local sushi bar that I love. And they make the best espresso martinis, by the way, just telling you that. And it dropped in like, you need to get your podcast up. And I was like, what podcast? And they're like, the Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. And I said, what do you mean? Like, I wasn't planning on podcast, although I knew the podcast was coming because I could feel the energy of it coming through, but I wasn't committing to it. I didn't think about it. I wasn't like into the branding and have it created or knew what I was going to do. And they're like, no, we need it up by the end of the month. And literally I ended up finding a producer who rolled with me. And the first episode launched on February 28th, 2023. I made a commitment that I was doing 2 episodes a week, 1 solo episode, 1 guest episode every single week. And we rolled that way up until episode 96 of this podcast. And I held the energy there. There was a small break between season 1 and 2, just like a small break between season 2 and 3 of the podcast. But I knew it was a mission. The people I got to meet through the guest podcast, the people all over the world that I got to interview, the stories, their alignments, their spaces of their movement on earth, I was like, I love this. And I love that we get to create in this energy field together, that we get to serve in this energy field together. So the Light Warriors Unleashed podcast is a mission on earth. It's a mission for us to step into our light, for us to battle where we need to inside of ourselves to keep moving, to keep shifting. And if I would stop moving the table, that'd be amazing. To keep shifting our energy field, to keep discovering, to keep remembering. It's the inner work. It's the inner battle. In this podcast, we talk about all different kinds of stuff: spiritual expansion, advancement spiritually, plant medicine. We talk about shadow work. And then we dive into like the stuff that's happening in the world that I want to shine lights on, like the pedophilia rings and, you know, the pandemic and all that stuff as well. And I've done numerous episodes on numerous things with numerous people, had real, raw, intense conversations about stuff. And every single person that listens to this podcast gets to take what they want, gets to lean in, gets to miss episodes, skip episodes, listen to that episode 50 million times if they want. But my job in the world is to accelerate power and truth and to get people to really remember who the fuck they are. Every single one of my episodes has an E on it. I swear all the time, and I will not stop swearing because it's part of who I am. And when we start to really lean into ourselves and trusting ourselves and really trusting the calling through us, there will be times in our life where we're like, I will never sacrifice who I am again. And part of this podcast mission is for you to feel that in your episodes, for you to feel that when you're listening, for you to be able to take something from here and implement it and honor it and light some shit up with this. And I love watching people step up into their space, to hold their power, to hold their movement, to move through in their energetic capacity and field. And this podcast was created to have these conversations. So I live in Costa Rica, in case you guys don't know that. I moved here from Canada. I was born in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I moved to Ontario when I was like 23 years old with my ex-boyfriend. And I did it for the Amway business. You may hear me speak to that in some of the episodes. And our mentor lived in Newmarket, Ontario. And we moved to Newmarket, Ontario back when I was 23. At the time, I thought we were going to be multimillionaires and do the thing. That relationship ended. I ended up going to work for my mentor from Amway in a different capacity in his life. I ended up leaving that whole thing and starting up an entrepreneurship business back 15 years ago, literally this week. It's been a journey, to say the least, of discovery, of discovering myself, of moving through energetic fields, of expansion. I got my first spiritual mentor when I was 15 years ago as well, the same time I started the business structure, and life moved. You know, I've surface level healed. I've actually done the healing. I've done plant medicine ceremonies and planning on actually dropping into another plant medicine ceremony coming up soon with peyote. I'm just feeling really called to the heart opening of that plant medicine to really help me align within the heart. But I'm just waiting to see if I have a dog sitter, because I need one, because I'm going to need space the next day to sleep, because it's a nighttime ceremony, not like psilocybins during the day. And just really following the calling of my heart. I moved to Costa Rica on an intuitive hit. Literally, I woke up one day, it was like Spirit said to me, you're moving to Costa Rica. And I said, great, when am I leaving? And they're like, in the fall. And literally I started moving stuff forward. This is how I live my life, by intuition. I do the exact same thing in how I show up in business and how I create offers in my business structure, how I lead and how I coach and how I move through. There's a certain infrastructure that's created around us to hold a container inside of this space. But I really, really dive into that intuitive connection. One of the works is the work that I do in the world is really helping other people align in that intuitive connection and trusting your calling and trusting yourself. And you will hear me say, if you are in relationship with me, what does your heart say? And our conditioning as humans is all through the mind. We have been taught to think about life instead of feeling through our heart center about life. And it was done on purpose because of the fact that if we are thinking all the time, we are then playing out in the matrix energy. We are playing within the infrastructure of conformity. We're working within the 3D world, which is all the mind. When we drop into our heart and connect into our intuition and into our flow and into our soul's alignment through the sacred heart temple, which is in the heart, we expand all the possibilities. We go outside of the given on earth and move into the dimensional coding of divinity, our actual pure divine codes. And when we do that, we collapse time. And when we do that, we shift the narrative. And when we do that, the unexpected happens and possibilities open up. And that's why so many of us have never heard of this before, because of the fact that it was limited for conversation. Because if we have all of humanity opening up their hearts into possibilities, all of the infrastructure of control dismantles, because we don't need it any longer. We're living within our heart. So my mission on earth is to help align people there. I have a massive job of lighting lights. And whether that is through this podcast or through content on Instagram or through programs and offerings, if people never purchase anything in my world but are imprinted by an energy I'm channeling through in a piece of content on TikTok or through a podcast episode, I'm doing my work. And our work is multifaceted on earth, and it's multidimensional, and it's never linear, ever. 1 + 1 does not equal 2 on earth. It equals an exponential energy, an exponential possibility, an exponential feeling of things. But when we start to feel this and see this, because we haven't been taught this, this is where we get to play. This is where expansion and desire and pleasure and joy and peace and love, all the things that we really want, is here. And when we live there, we open it more and more and more and more. So yeah, I'm a dreamer. I'm also a romantic at heart. I believe in love. I believe that we can be everything that we are in a relationship, that we don't have to conform at all in our relationships if we're with our right partners. I really believe that, we have influence to change the world, that one person in their light and potency can make a difference. I watch it happen when I walk the streets and I smile at the people and I say hola to people, or I watch the imprint shift. When I can own my purity of light in the world, I can shift others into purity of lights in the world. I watch it happen with the neighbor's dog. I watch it happen with the cat next door. I watch it happen everywhere. But some of us diminish that in the life and think that we have to be something else or do something different or that, all the things. But that isn't true. Your job on this earth is to remember who the fuck you are and step into that space in full potency. Always in full potency. So I've been talking all morning. Podcast interview I had this morning. I was getting interviewed on a podcast. I just finished teaching a program and I'm recording this video now so that when I come back from the gym, I don't actually have to get ready. Not that I really would, because you guys will see me if you watch this on YouTube. It's always on YouTube. You guys can get the episodes on YouTube as well as listen to it on your ear. But you'll see that I show up in full illumination, we'll call it. I am just here in real vulnerable energy. And I've dismantled a lot of the things that I think I have to do. But this morning I felt called to put on some earrings for you guys. I felt called to do my eyebrows today and put on some mascara. And I felt called to just let my hair be. I didn't do my hair. This is what my hair looks like when it dries naturally. I've had it in a clip for 2 days. This is day 3. And I'm just learning to dismantle the conformities, dismantle the things that I should do, and really start to live life through the heart. And every day when I wake up, I'm like, what does that mean today? And today it means something, and tomorrow it's going to mean something else. But all I want to encourage you guys as we move through this experience in season 3 is, where in your life right now can you make a choice to move something forward in your world that's been calling you forward? Whether it's to launch something, whether it's to be something, whether it's to move something, whether it's to start something, I don't know. Everyone's going to be different, and all of you have a different energy in this space and in this world. All I'm going to ask of you is to consider this as we move through the weeks together, and we move through the episodes, as we climb in frequency, as we move through vulnerability, as we keep speaking into the space of stuff. Where in your life could you maybe do the thing that's been dropping in? Could you take an action today that's going to move a needle forward? Could you actually, let go of something else? I don't know what it is for you, but I was being called to say that out loud. So I think this is a good start to the episode, because my voice is like slowly dying over here, and I'm being told that this is good. This is a good start to season 3. So it launches out every Friday, guys. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while and haven't done a review, I would love it if you guys could. Let's get this into the hands of more people. The more reviews, the more people we have sharing this, the more that people find it, the more people see it, the more people get to move through it. And I desire that. I desire more people to hear it, not for the ratings, but for the energy. If we can get people rolling in a new frequency and calibrating in a frequency of this truth, then we're making shifts in the world. So help me out, guys. I always say this every episode, but I'm really asking you guys to help me out. Snap a photo of this, be like, season 3's back. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Tag me. Let's share this out, and let's get it into the world, into the hands of the people. And I can't wait to share with you guys the new levels moving through, the new experiences moving through this season, my own work I've done over the last 2 months. And it's going to be an amazing journey, really amazing journey. And I love you guys for being here, and sending you guys out so much love and respect and light today as we move through the field. And I'll see you guys all in the next episode.